This video is going to cover the steri-strip application after a laceration. Again, we want to make sure that we have all the supplies that we need. So for this one, we're going to need some skin toughener. We're going to need tweezers, Q-tip, Band-Aid, steri-strips, non-sterile gauze, and some Hypafix or cover roll. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that this area is clean and dry. So from this area, if it's bleeding, you put direct pressure on it to control the bleed. When that bleed has stopped, make sure that it's dry, clean, so it's got to be dry of sweat. Make sure any debris in that area is removed. I can't stress that enough that it has to be dry in there or this is not going to work. So once it's in there, you have this all cleaned out, your area is prepped and ready to go. You can pre-cut your steri-strips to the size that you're going to need. You're going to need 1 centimeter on either side. So if you cut right through, I now have 3 steri-strips that I'll be able to put on there. When you're doing this, you want to make sure that you are using tweezers. Even though I'm wearing gloves, you want to make sure that you don't get any oils or any debris on the steri-strips where it's not going to adhere to the area. In order to prep this, you want to get the Q-tip and actually spray it. So that it's saturated and dripping. And then we're going to go in and go above and below the actual laceration just to make sure that we have enough area for that steri-strip to stick to. The application of this, you want to make sure again that you are not pulling on the wound. You have an area here, you start on one end, close it together, and then lay this end down. And then you apply all 3 of them in a zipper fashion. Hold the one end, secure the wound, lay it down. And then the last one, again, secure it, close it, lay it down. Then from there, you want to make sure that it's covered completely because they are going back into sport. So you can take this and measure the size that you're going to need. You can use any type of Band-Aid, but just make sure that when you're covering it, the Band-Aid itself, the underside of the Band-Aid, is covering the wound only. This one we can customize the shape of it. So if there is any oozing in that area, this will also help to absorb that when they go back in. So it sits on top. Okay, and then from there again we have our Hypafix. We can measure the size that we're going to need. You want to have it about 1 centimeter on either side at least, around the edges. And then because you're near the face, you want to be super careful. You can use your Q-tip again and get skin toughener on either side of that just to make sure that this stuff is going to stay. Okay, then once that's secured and you're comfortable with that being in place, then they make sure that it's not going to fall off or come apart when they're actually participating. Then you got to clean your supplies. At that point, take your alcohol swabs and you can deal with your tweezers, your scissors, anything that you used for that process, clean them thoroughly, then you can put them back into storage in your therapy bag.